qual facciamo per amor, a lui fossi io di penna.
Hello and welcome everybody to another cast in Alchemy League Season 6. Today we've got some sets from the lower elo of the batch, but that's okay because they still should be some pretty entertaining games, and I like to cast a variety. So what have we got here today? Well, we've got Jasuni versus Core Diamond first. Core Diamond is right here. So we're looking at between 1,000 and 1,100 elo, probably, for the first set. And then we have a classic. We've got Lion versus the Plush Werewolf. All right, so this is somewhere between 1,200 and 1,400. Lion and Plush Werewolf are both from the United States, and they used to be members of the old Viridarchs clan before it was disbanded. And then Jasuni is well known to the community. He is also from the United States. He is known for his map making. He's made maps for us for previous seasons of Alchemy League. And then Core Diamond has played in Alchemy League in the past. Don't know too much about him. He is from Russia. So if he wins any money, we'll have to be a little bit creative about how to pay him. But otherwise don't know very much about him. So anyway, we've got 1,000 elo to 1,100 for the first set, and then between 1,200 and 1,400 for the second set. So now that I've introduced the players, let's go over their civilization drafts and the map drafts and such. Bring that up here. So in the first set, we will see Lagoon Forest because it is played on round 4, and Lagoon Forest is the map of the round. And then, let me zoom in on this actually. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because people have moved their maps around, and they're no longer in the same spot, so the draft can't find it. So Lagoon Forest, you can kind of see what it looks like here. Confluence, it's exactly as it sounds. 2 rivers combining into one. So they're kind of closed maps, but they also have a chaotic element because the players start close together. So those are the maps that we're going to see. They, of course, took turns banning maps from the map pool until only one remained, and that was Confluence. So that's what they'll play. And Jasuni will be happy about that because Jasuni made Confluence. For Core Diamond versus Jasuni, in terms of civilizations, the admin randomly bans 5 civilizations at the beginning, and then they globally ban 2 civilizations based on the maps that they saw in the draft and what they know they're going to be playing on. And then they pick 2, snipe 1, and then pick 1 more, I believe. So we're going to see Core Diamond with the option of Portuguese, Dravidians, Malians. And we're going to see Jasuni with the option of Saracens, Koreans, and Vietnamese. I don't know why people keep letting Jasuni have the Saracens. He clearly loves the Saracens. He plays them every time, and he does well in them too. So that's one of the advantages to watching this stream, is that you can see Jasuni's slobbering love affair with the Saracens and then ban them if you ever play against Jasuni. But I guess their loss is Jasuni's gain, so maybe Jasuni will score an upset as the Saracens against Core Diamond. So I will introduce the maps and the civilizations for Lion versus Plush Werewolf later. But I will say this for now, is that I try to choose sets such that the maps are all unique. They are play all 2, and so it's 4 games to cast. And I like to have a different map to cast for every single one of the games. Alright, so here we go. Let's zoom in to the actual game screen. And we got ourselves Lagoon Forest here. We're going to hit go. Oh, no, that's half speed. All right, there we go. This is normal speed. So Core Diamond is in the blue. He is approximately at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and he is playing as the Malians. And Jasuni is in the gray, and he is playing as the Saracens. Okay, so Jasuni with a strong opener. His favorite civ. I think he wants to play the Saracens here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe to mess with Core Diamond a little bit. He's kind of scouting with his sheep. I don't know how I feel about that. You should probably bring these sheep back. I mean, he doesn't really know how far away his opponent is, but actually, these guys are pretty far apart for this particular spawn, so this is kind of a safer spawn. I don't know if we're going to see a lot of action from them early on because of the distance between the players, but sometimes the map starts them out closer. Let's talk about the map a little bit, and then we'll talk about potential plays with different civilizations. So this map was made by Zetnus. It's made by essentially placing a couple of player lands down, kind of small player lands. They're pretty much maybe actually, you know what? They're not small at all. They're quite large. They take up the entire map, and it's basically some grassy terrain. Actually, maybe they don't take up the entire map because he's able to put them at an elevation. So in order to do that, this kind of has to be its own separate zone at elevation 1. So I guess he's got a couple of other lands in there for just to fill in the rest of the map. And then he puts down these... Oh, you know what it is? No, the player lands are small. The base terrain for the map is this grassy terrain. And then he puts down these ponds sort of randomly. And these ponds are at the borders. They got a thick mangrove tree wall. And you can slowly chop through that. I mean, it takes some time. Nobody's going to be fish booming here. Sometimes there are fish in the channels between them. So, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So he puts these ponds down, and then in the terrain manipulation section, he can give the ponds, this mangrove shallow border, and then in the connections section, see, look at all these ponds are pretty much connected, or at least they try to be, with these mangrove shallows here. So that uses connection generation, the same thing that creates the shallow crossing in the classic map Highland. He does that here. So in the late game, it could be possible to chop through and gain access to this water, to dock it up and then use onagers to clear passageways and go all over the place with ships. But it's difficult, and you have to invest in that strategy. And actually, we probably have most of the games that we've seen on this map. They don't end that way. Usually, somebody does some kind of fast Imperial or fast Castle with unique unit or Monk Rush, or some strategy that's good on a closed map could be good here, because this map it's a lot like Black Forest, but with a twist. And that twist is that you could unlock the ability to actually make things interesting with ships later. Because on Black Forest, sure, I mean, there's sometimes some ponds, but the ponds are isolated, and once you build a bunch of death ball of ships in that pond, okay, great, you control that pond, and you control the area around that pond in a 16-tile radius, maybe, outside of the pond's border, maybe even less than that. Oh, look at this. So Jasuni is already docking, actually. Some people say that fish are always a good idea. I mean, there's 400 food here. Not quite 400, 350. It's still a lot of food. I don't know if it's worth it, though. I really don't know if this is worth it. I mean, it's just one fish. It's only... They say that it's worth it if you have 4 of the shore fishes. And I believe each shore fish has 200 food in it. So 4 of them would be 800 food. Because think about it, you got to build the dock, you got to build fishing ships. It's a big wood investment. And to only get 350 out of the minimum 800 food that would normally enticing. But Jasuni does have his lumber camp right here, so maybe Jasuni's plan is to make a fishing ship, maybe 2 fishing ships, clear out this dolphin, and then by the time this is cleared out, he'll have chopped through here, and then he can take these oysters. These oysters are new. They were from an antiquity patch, the rulers of Greece or something like that. And this new sea resource was added called oysters. It's basically like fish that you can gather with, it's gold that you can gather with a fishing ship if antiquity mode is enabled. Now, if antiquity mode is not enabled, because you can opt into this rule change or you cannot, if you do not opt into the rule change, then fishing ships cannot gather from oysters. But if you do opt into the rule change, which this tournament requires, then if you take your fishing ship and you right-click on the oysters, it will become an oystering ship. And then it can collect the valuable pearls from the oysters and bring that back and sell that for a lot of money, aka gold. Alright, so guys, it's Black Forest with a twist. Let's talk about the civilizations. I like the choice of Malians on Black Forest. I think Malians are a pretty powerful civilization. Saracens are not really known for their heavy cavalry. They like to make camels, and they can do that very well. But unlike paladins, or war elephants, let's say, or somebody with a really, or boyars, somebody with a really hard-hitting cavalry unit, you really, really, really need halberdiers. You gotta get that plus 32 extra bonus damage against those units, because those units can swoop in out of nowhere. You could have an onager cut or something, and those things can just sweep into your economy and just ruin your game. I mean, sure, it's not cost-effective to play paladins versus pikemen long term, but in terms of unit efficiency, population efficiency, paladins, if somebody has invested a bunch of paladins and they have them ready and you're not ready, or maybe you are ready and you have a bunch of pikemen but they're in the wrong position, or they have to take a bad fight, or what, the pikemen, sure, they counter those units cost effectively, but in the earlier stages of Imperial Age, when people have lots of gold and stuff, it's not very effective. But having halberdiers really could put you over the top. So I guess where I'm getting at with this weave here is that Malians don't get halberdiers. They have strong infantry, but they're strong in other ways. Their infantry have an inherent resistance to arrow fire. Which is, in my opinion, why halberdier were taken away from the Malians, or maybe just denied the Malians initially. We see that Core Diamond has built a stable here, so we should be able to check. Maybe we can click some some ribbons or something like that. There's some place that we can click, I believe, that tells us... Oh, there it is. That tells us what Core Diamond is doing. Alright, so he's in the feudal age, but it doesn't look like he's making anything except villagers. But in my roundabout way, what I'm saying is that Core Diamond missing out on Halberdier doesn't really hurt him very much, because pikemen will be enough to deal with Saracen camels, or just camels in general. And then Core Diamond can have the benefits of infantry that are more resistant to arrow fire. And Saracens also like to make archers, and they like to make skirmishers, and Core Diamond's infantry will be more resistant to that. He gets those Gabetos, which are really good at throwing their swords, and they could be really good at hacking down some of Jasuni's siege weapons from a distance. Maybe could be effective at closing the distance and stopping Jasuni from massing up a large army of siege weapons to flatten Core Diamond's infantry. So, you know, these sorts of infantry are slow, and they don't really have range. But on a map where you can boom up and get to infantry, because infantry are... traditionally, they've been more of a late game type of unit. Now, the devs are trying to make them more early game. In my opinion, that is actually a mistake. I really don't think infantry needed the early game buffs. I know that's heresy. I know a lot of people say, oh, you know, we never see them. The reason you never see them is because they do not come into effect until the Imperial Age. But, you know, maybe it doesn't hurt anything, and just, you know, it increases another option for early game, and that's fine, as Jasuni's scout gets trapped in here. So anyway, infantry are a great choice for a map like this. If you go into an infantry-heavy civilization on a map like this, I feel like you are going to prosper. I feel as though archers, sure, they're great at choke points, closing things off, but, you know, where there's choke points and there's archers raining arrows in through choke points, archers themselves are also choked up and vulnerable to siege weapons such as cannons. But infantry love to run up on those cannons and slaughter them. So Jasuni has gone fast castle. I think that's a sensible approach, and he's dropping 2 town centers, and he's just going to boom up, and he's going to try to get an economic advantage over his opponent. I don't know how many villagers they each have, but I guess I could check. So Core Diamond has 36 villagers, and Jasuni has 32. So Core Diamond is ahead in villager count, actually. He hasn't quite gotten up to the next ages very quickly. It seemed like he built this stable that Core Diamond wanted to do something in the feudal age, or maybe he was initially planning on doing something in the feudal age. Yeah, look at this. He just only built 1 fishing ship, but then he never did. He never did, maybe because he felt he scouted his opponent out, and he felt that he just couldn't get the damage in to justify spending resources on scouts. So anyway, so that's the Mayans. I think that we could easily see something like Champ Scarls and Rams running through Jasuni's base in the late game. That is a very viable possibility against Saracens. Saracens do get hand cannon, I believe. They have tools to deal with that. But we'll see. It can be hard. Malian buildings are cheaper, so they got a little bit of... They require less wood. Okay, here's Core Diamond scouts. We just weren't paying attention. I don't know how effective a scout rush will be. I mean, Jasuni's got spearmen standing by. He's got multiple town centers. Maybe this area is the most vulnerable area if Core Diamond finds it. Although Jasuni fighting that, I think that's a mistake. I think he should have walled his villager in, but Core Diamond is going to pick off 1 out of Jasuni's 45 villagers. So I don't think that the scout rush did much in terms of value. Sure, he took Jasuni off of gold, but Jasuni doesn't need gold right now. He needs every other resource except gold. He's got an idle villager here. Core Diamond coming back to snipe the farm, maybe? The farm has a little bit of health, but he does manage to kill it. Jasuni unloads a few volleys of arrows into Core Diamond's scouts. So what do you do if you're Saracens here? You could go Mamelukes, right? You could go archers. there's all kinds of, I think Saracens have fully upgradable champions as well. Let's see. I mean, they don't have the champ Scarls. They get hand cannons. Saracens have legitimate gunpowder, and they have an open blacksmith, and they've got the siege onagers. So they've got a lot of good stuff. Their monks passively heal multiple nearby units, which is just ridiculous. Counterweights, trebuchets, mangonel line, plus 15% attack. So they're kind of generalist here with a lot of good camel bonuses and some other weird bonuses too, like foot archers doing more damage, and skirmisher line doing more damage versus buildings. So the skirmishers are a very weird choice to do bonus damage against building. It seems like skirmishers are not really supposed to hurt buildings very much. They're a heavily overused unit, I think. But people see a lot of archers and pikemen, so it makes sense. So both these players kind of just doing a chill, fast castle. Like Core Diamond a little bit later up. And now we understand why. It's because he invested in a scout rush. I don't know that the scout rush did much for him, but maybe it was worth it. Yeah, Jasuni is out of dolphins to fish here. He's got to wait for this forest to get opened up, and then he can start oystering. Core Diamond has made a knight. Malians get decent cavalry as well. They do not get paladins, of course, but they get a unique technology at their castle called Farimba, which gives their cavalry, I believe it's +7 attack. So it's quite lethal, actually. Don't let them touch you. Don't let Malian cavalry in Imperial Age touch you. So maybe he wants to go that route. I don't think that's really a good route, though. Sure, it's a good bonus, but with cavalry, they're more expensive, and ultimately you're paying for mobility that you don't really need. I mean, your opponent can close all this stuff off. You can't really get much of a flanking advantage. There's not really many places to go, so cavalry don't make a lot of sense to me on this map. But a lot of people like them. I guess they can sort of pick and choose their fights. You know, it'd be really funny if Jasuni built a stone gate here and walled this cavalry in, but the cavalry are wise to it, and they approach first. So Jasuni gonna try to get away, but Core Diamond does get that villager pick off. Jasuni wants to build a town center here. This is actually really bad timing for Jasuni. This town center actually will be denied. For how long, I don't know. These pikemen are not going to be sufficient to scare off these cavalry. It's the town center that's scaring off the cavalry. But the cavalry could totally loop back around. But Core Diamond doesn't go that way. It goes this way. Now, there is another thing I should add, and that is that Alchemy League is played on standard victory condition. So that means it's a good idea to go and try to get relics. If you can get relics, and you can get all the relics, you can win the game that way. You could also win by building a wonder. And I would actually love to see that. This would be the map for it, really. I mean, you just kind of wall stuff off. Maybe you build a bunch of ships in these channels to defend, and then you've got a wonder in the way back, and you defend that. But wonders are very expensive, so it's not very often that we see somebody win with a wonder in Alchemy League. It's actually maybe they should be cheaper. Honestly, I would be an advocate of that. You know, that could be a good rule change for Alchemy League. And you can do this too. You could change the maps. You could change the rules in the map to make it so that wonders were like half the cost and they were built in half the time. Now, wouldn't that be a hoot? Then we'd see people going for wonder victories all the time, and that could be a lot of fun. So that's something to consider now that I'm just kind of sitting here talking to myself, giving myself that idea. Decrease the cost and build time of wonders, so we see more people go for wonder victories. That'd be a lot of fun. Okay, so Jasuni has finally chopped this through, and he's got his oystering ship now, so he's going to have a slight gold trickle from that. He doesn't have anything back on this gold. And we can see the new skin for the Middle Eastern monks here. He's got this nice little poofy hat and looks like a scroll in front of him. Of course, the architecture for the monastery not changing. Saracens. I remember when Byzantine monasteries used to look like this. So, Core Diamond has a score lead over Jasuni. Let's see, Jasuni with 88 villagers and Core Diamond with actually 69. So Jasuni has done a better job of booming than Core Diamond. But Core Diamond has more military presence than Jasuni. And we could see Core Diamond make an attack against Jasuni pretty soon. Looks like he's massing some camels. Malians get camels of their own. They each have their own unique camel bonuses, you know. Saracens with more HP and Malians with more attack. And getting them at different times, and depending on whether or not you have a castle. I don't think either player has a castle, actually. That's something that I should check for. Okay, so Jasuni building a university, and he doesn't have any archery ranges. So this is telling me that he's planning on Imperial Age, and yeah, we check over here, and this is indeed the case. He's using it as a building to go up to the next stage. He's got his monastery, so the university completes that. Fulfills that requirement, although I do think a siege workshop would be pretty important for him. But maybe he wants to build that forward. So Core Diamond has snagged this relic. You see the African-themed monastery. It looks kind of strange. I don't know what it's inspired by, and it looks really white. Really white and clean. Maybe they had some source of marble or white stone or something like that. I don't know what building this is based off of. Alright, so what is Jasuni's plan? He's going to Imperial Age, but when you go to Imperial Age, you have to have a plan. So let's switch to Jasuni's perspective and see if we can figure out, based on what he's training, what his plan is. He's halfway up to Imperial Age, but I don't know. I don't see the plan. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what he's going to make. Usually, you don't drop 1,000 food and 800 gold on Imperial Age with a oh, this is not good. So this might look like a good place to build a castle, but Core Diamond is never going to allow that. So Jasuni, hopefully he gets there with the pikemen. Jasuni, get out of there. Okay, yeah, he sees that his opponent has a bunch of military in that location, and so he cannot build his castle there. So Jasuni, I think, is going to try to go Mamelukes, and Core Diamond is coming forward now, and I think Core Diamond is going to castle that location. Jasuni losing a bunch of villagers from that. Core Diamond hasn't really chased him at all back into his town. Core Diamond is still Castle Age. So what is... Alright, so Jasuni's going to build some stables. And he's going to build his castle at home. So he recognizes that his opponent has a military. He didn't scout it. And his opponent is going to build this castle on top of the monastery, which I think is pretty smart. And it still secures this area in a way. It gives him vision over one of the possible avenues that Jasuni could go this way. And it will allow him to claim this relic. So Jasuni sees the castle, and he builds a siege workshop of his own. And he's building 2 stables, and he's building this castle, and he's probably just going to pump out camels. If knowing Jasuni, that is my guess of what he's up to. And indeed, we see this queue is chock full of camels, and he's getting the heavy camel upgrade. He just got it. He's getting the armor for the camels. He's getting the speed for the camels. Loses the relic, and Core Diamond's monk comes, and you can see him snatch up the relic, and he's making off with it right now. So Core Diamond surely is going to recognize... I don't know if Core Diamond knows. Hey, Crazy Joe, welcome. I don't know if Core Diamond knows of Jasuni's... Actually, he does. So Core Diamond knows there's a castle here, which explains why he's going up to Imperial Age. He realizes he cannot continue to push unless he is in Imperial Age and can make trebuchets from this location. And he should also build himself a couple more stables. I mean, it's kind of awkward for Core Diamond's reinforcements to... Where is he even making his cavalry? He's making them from this stable. I guess it's not quite as awkward then. But yeah, Jasuni going to build a castle here and cut this off. And sort of split Core Diamond's advance in half. So in order to really get through here, Core Diamond's going to have to delete the stable, which will be annoying. Instead of, if he had a stable like here and here, he could actually prevent this from going up. So I think this is a smart place for Jasuni to build his castle. Alright, so Core Diamond hits Imperial Age. We see trebuchets in the queue. Jasuni should have already been making trebuchets. I'm not sure where Jasuni's trebuchets are. He hasn't made them. He wants to get the unique technologies first. So he just finished, I believe, Zealotry to give his camels additional health. Yeah, look at this. 170 HP for these camels. That's insane. Plus 50 health. And now he's getting this Bimaristan technology. Alright. So this is why Jasuni does not feel the need for trebuchets. It is because he can make cannon galleons. Oh, that's clever. So Jasuni taking advantage of this map, and he uses his cannon galleon to kill the trebuchet, which is actually pretty smart. That is a play that I didn't think about. I was kind of a little upset. I was like, Jasuni, come on, man. You know there's a castle here. Why aren't you making trebuchets? Jasuni paying attention to the trebuchet, and he micros the cannon galleon to avoid it, and so now Core Diamond has to repair his trebuchet. Core Diamond has docked this location, and he is making a fire galley. Jasuni's trying to finish off this trebuchet, but he can't, because the fire galley and the castle stop him. So, unfortunately, the cannon galleon was fun, but yeah, it's not going to work out as long as Core Diamond can make these fire ships. I guess maybe the cannon galleon could be right here, and it could attack the castle and be safe from the fire ship by nature of this castle's arrow fire. We see some Mamelukes. They both deal massive bonus damage to each other. Heavy camels and Mamelukes both. They kill each other very quickly. I think Jasuni was making these Mamelukes because he wanted to come over here and snipe this trebuchet. He really should not give this position up. He should do everything he can to keep this castle up. His opponent does not have as much here as it might look. And Core Diamond taking a bad fight underneath that castle. And Jasuni, I think, has a military advantage. He just doesn't know it. He doesn't know it. Now Core Diamond is like, oh, you know, I like that idea of cannon galleons. I'm going to make one. And Core Diamond building some more stables here to support his attack from this flank. And Jasuni afraid of fighting. I guess he doesn't have all of the Pierce Armor upgrades in the world, but I really think it's worth trying to snipe these trebuchets. Jasuni's castle here was denied briefly. Looks like he's going to come back and finish it. Half of Jasuni's army is fighting unauthorized here. The other half is just kind of waiting. I think that's not good. I think Jasuni is not paying attention there. Now with the castle gone, Jasuni's in trouble. His opponent can take him off of this gold and this gold, because the castle was somewhat protecting both. And this castle going down kind of exposes the vulnerable underbelly of Jasuni's economy. And what does he have for unit production? He's losing it now. He has a stable here. I guess he's got another stable here. It's got 8 camels in it. And yeah, he gets the idea. He's throwing down some more stables, but his opponent is all over him. So I think that this is going to be over before Jasuni can really react. There are too many Malian camels here. And let's click on these. Yeah, the Malian camels have 7+7 attack. So I believe that they do have Farimbin, but I think that Core Diamond is missing some of his blacksmith technologies that give these camels even more attack. Maybe not, though. But Jasuni's going to lose his gold miners. He has a bigger boom than Core Diamond. Core Diamond is actually now at 129 villagers. And it's pop capped at 200 pop. Jasuni's gold miners are going down. I think Jasuni just not enough map control here. I think Core Diamond really recognized that he could hit Jasuni from the side, and he could deny Jasuni the opportunity to build out here. And Jasuni's kind of walled himself in on the other flanks. He hasn't really expanded out to take much of this unclaimed land, and there's not a lot of places to build or keep things safe. I feel like Jasuni should have made some more stone walls or something, kind of try to channel the fight until he could do his thing. Late game Jasuni is pretty dangerous, but we're finding out that Core Diamond is not going to allow that to happen. Jasuni is getting a good siege snipe, though. It's an important win for him. Help him keep his castle up. And he's also built another town center over here, which is kind of funny. He has 100 villagers somehow, and he is making heavy camel riders. But still massively outnumbered. Yeah, Cookie Pirate and I met earlier today and looked at some of the OBS settings that I'm using. I don't know if some of them reset to like the lowest default values or if I had a day with very patchy internet. So I dialed down the resolution settings and such, but I've since upscaled the video in quality. It's now, I believe it's like 2.5 by 1400 quality, 30 frames per second. So hopefully it looks a lot better than previous Alchemy League videos. It's a little bit easier to watch. Jasuni trying here, but he's just outnumbered. He's outnumbered and his forces are scattered. He is going to build a dock here. Try to defend with ships. And unlike the other location, I think it'd be hard for Core Diamond to dock this, but this castle is engulfed in flames, which is weird because it's made entirely out of stone. And the castle goes down. I think Jasuni is going to call it. No, he's not. He's going to build another castle here. So he's hanging on. There are 4 trebuchets. So this castle is not going to stand for very long. And his opponent's just all over him. Jasuni is not even making camels anymore because he can't take gold. And he doesn't have the resources to make light cav for much longer. He does have 4,000 stone in the bank, but I predict as soon as this castle goes down, Jasuni will call the GG. His opponent is just too much. Just kind of got Jasuni unsuspecting. Jasuni had a bunch of stuff planned up, and he had a great idea. But Core Diamond hit him before he could make that idea a reality. And the castle goes down. And I don't know what's left for Jasuni here. He's got 47... Jasuni says, "Forsooth, I couldst not walk through the trees." He's got 23 villagers and 47 military overall. No wonder that we're victorious. I shall abdicate. So the first win of this set goes to Core Diamond. Let's take a look at the statistics. So kill to death ratio, this is what won it for Core Diamond. Look at this. He's got more than 2 to 1 here. He's raised 28 buildings while losing none. Jasuni did convert 1 unit though. Economy. Core Diamond's economy was larger overall. Makes sense. Jasuni's economy was embroiled in an attack in the later part of the game, so he wasn't able to do as much. Jasuni was faster to Castle and Imperial Age. Core Diamond faster to Feudal Age. Did an initial scout rush. I don't know how much damage it did. I attribute Core Diamond's victory more so to him hitting Jasuni in early Imperial Age before Jasuni could do much. Jasuni built 3 castles. Core Diamond built only 1. Core Diamond captured 4 relics and got 2k relic gold. Boomed up to 153 villagers. So now we're going to go and watch their game on Confluence. Confluence is a map of Jasuni's make. So let's take a look and talk about the map. These players happen to be starting in this location. They start pretty close together. And it looks like there is a crossing here that connects the players. But there's also other crossings up and around the river. It's kind of random where the crossings are. There's some deep fish. I think the deep fish you might be able to take with villagers in some locations, but really you want to dock. And there's also freshwater oysters. So the map is popular for laming because of how close you start to your opponent. There's pretty much no opportunity for wolves to even spawn in between, so you can kind of send a villager around and snag a boar. Although in this case it could be tricky. You'd kind of have to go around and the boar would have to run around the trees. Not a lot of land here, actually. In a way, it's similar to Black Forest. Tree density is pretty thick. So you kind of have to be careful about map control on this map as well. Jasuni is playing as the Vietnamese, so he knows exactly where his opponent is. And it's another archer civilization. Jasuni likes archers. Or I should say, I don't know that the Saracens are so much an archer civilization, but they are a civilization with an archer bonus. And Vietnamese have an archer bonus too. And the Vietnamese archer bonus comes in the form of their archers being tankier and in the ability to create imperial skirmishers. And Core Diamond is playing as one of those new Indian civilizations that I don't fully recognize. Let's see, I think that might be the Dravidians. Yes, the Dravidians. So let's talk about the civilization bonuses, I guess. I mean, the map is pretty self-explanatory. There's 2 rivers, and they combine to form another river. And there's a big neutral land out here that players can go after and fight over. I've casted, actually, the longest game I think I've ever casted in the league was played on this map. Where both players just boomed up and they just spammed each other with hussars for forever. But it was a pretty good game. It had action all throughout, so it was actually really nice. Anyway, let's just finish going over the Vietnamese bonuses here. So we did this first one. Jasuni knows right where his opponent starts. He knows that his economic upgrades will cost no wood and they'll research twice as fast. Archery range units and fire lancers have 20% more HP. Conscription is free. Now the unique unit is the Rattan Archer, which is a foot archer with extra pierce armor, and of course the Imperial Skirmisher, which is a team unit, I believe. So the unique technologies give battle elephants additional health, and if he researches paper money, his lumberjacks will slowly generate gold in addition to wood. I remember when this gave your allies gold and stuff. People hated it. They're like, okay, well, I just researched this, so you enjoy the gold now. So let's resume the game. Oh, right, the Dravidians. We should talk about the Dravidians, too. So fishermen and fishing ships carry plus 15. They receive extra wood when advancing to the next stage. Plus 200 actually. Skirmishers and elephant archers attack 25% faster. Their barracks technologies cost half as much. Their siege weapons cost less wood. They get those whippy boys, those Urumi swordsmen. And they've got some unique technologies which allow their elephant units to regenerate and their cavalry and infantry to ignore armor. And their docks provide population space. So, a bunch of weird bonuses. But Station, I think these bonuses are sort of geared toward being a slow elephant, infantry, and archer type civilization with siege support. So it looks like Jasuni's going out to dock now. Does he have enough wood to sustain production from a dock? No. So he's going to have to send some more villagers out. Especially since he's building a house now. But these houses are necessary. Otherwise he's going to be housed. He actually has to get loom right now. So Jasuni, Dark Age, not the best. Not the best for him. Luckily this is his scout and not his opponent's scout. Could be tricky to dock on this map because your opponent's scout can get a hill advantage against your villager. And they can kind of punish you. So you have to be careful. So I wonder if Jasuni will attack this dock with his... That would be funny, actually, if he attacked this dock with his scout. Core Diamond sees that scout, builds these initial walls to give him some measure of protection, and then decides he wants to collect this shorefish here. And he also sends his scout to attack Jasuni's villager. Luckily, for Jasuni, he has loom. So the scout is not able to kill the villager, which makes Core Diamond sad. Core Diamond has not gotten loom, though, which makes these walls essential. So we know that the players are linked. We know there's a crossing here, and we know that there is a crossing here. So big boar drop off from Jasuni, but not enough to go up to the next stage yet. I think we've seen people do tower rushes, we've seen people do galley rushes, we've seen people do archer rushes, we've seen people do combinations. The nice thing about Alchemy League is I don't think the maps really get fully figured out. Hey, no worries, Crazy Joe. Thank you for being here. So Core Diamond, I believe Core Diamond's on his way up to the feudal age. That explains why he sent all these villagers out here to harvest wood. And he's now building a mining camp, so we can expect to see Core Diamond make some offensive ships to go out and sink Jasuni's fishing ships, although Jasuni only has one of them. Core Diamond is also walling off this crossing here, which I think is smart. Why not, right? Spend a little bit of wood and be able to control whether or not your opponent comes in this way. I think it's a good deal. Now we'll see if Core Diamond is clever enough to recognize that this is probably a straggler tree, so Jasuni could chop this down if he sent a villager over here and then built a palisade wall of his own. But I think Core Diamond should be able to get like right here and block this off, and it should be good. Or potentially he could wall to the oysters. Yeah, he can use the oysters as part of his wall. I think that's what he's doing. He's going to add another dock, and this dock is going to seal this section off. So now if Jasuni wanted to walk directly to Core Diamond's town center, he would have to come around here. But because the players start so close together, I mean, it is potentially possible that your opponent could just march some archers back here and pick on your lumberjacks. So you do have to be careful. We've seen that in the past. Interesting. Jasuni on stone, and he's building a market. So this is signaling to me that Jasuni is actually going for Fast Castle. He's going to use these oystering ships to get enough gold to go up to the Castle Age. He had some fishing ships before that were collecting food for fish, or sorry, fish for food, and that'll help him with his Fast Castle. But he really wants the oysters, actually, because the oysters will give him the gold he needs, because he hasn't built a camp on the gold at all. I mean, look at his gold. It's barren. He's got a market here. Yeah, I don't know what Jasuni is exactly doing, but I think he wants to go Fast Castle, but he doesn't have nearly enough resources. Alright, we got some villagers headed out this way. What is this? They've got hunting bows. I'm wondering if these villagers are intended for... I hope he's not sending them after these deer. That would be a bad idea. His opponent controls the river, and Jasuni's actually not even going to fight for the river. Yeah, it looks like Jasuni's coming across, and he's going to hunt some deer on this neutral land out here, which I think is good. It could give him some map presence. The disadvantage is that he's got, 8 villagers not working right now because they're walking all the way out here. But if he can use these villagers to establish a presence out in this part of the forest, could be really good for him. Yeah, there's the mill. So he knows he needs food because he doesn't have it from the fish. And Core Diamond investing... I don't know if he's going to continue to make ships. Let's check. Well, he's still making ships. And he actually doesn't have the resources to go castle either. So, no harm yet. But if Jasuni gets to that point where Core Diamond hits Castle Age and Jasuni hasn't even clicked yet, then he'll be in a little bit of trouble. Especially because it'll be easy for Core Diamond to upgrade these ships. Jasuni building something, maybe trying to entice Core Diamond into making more ships. But if I'm Core Diamond, I probably stop making ships at this point. I'm like, okay, my opponent is not contesting water anymore, so therefore it doesn't make sense for me to build any more ships. Well, except for fishing ships, of course. Now that Core Diamond controls the water, fishing ships are a pretty safe investment. Now, he's going to come around here and see if he can find something. I don't think that Core Diamond doesn't know anything about Jasuni's presence over here. So Jasuni is taking these deer in secret. And there's nothing Core Diamond can do about it as long as he doesn't have any land military. Now, if Core Diamond made some land military, he could stop this. But he doesn't really have to. He's got a bunch of fishing ships, boosting his economy. Looks like he's starting to think about Castle Age. He's saving up some food. He's saving up a lot of gold. He's going to need a market. If he had a market, he could rebalance this to be able to click up to Castle Age. And we see that he is indeed building a market. And since he has a blacksmith, Basically, as soon as this market goes up, he'll be able to buy a little bit of food and click up to the next stage. That's probably what he'll do. Because he'll have the required buildings, and he'll have the building that he needs to perform that exchange. Core Diamond's actually like, wait, I have too much gold. I'm going to take all these villagers off of gold, and he does that, and he puts them on wood, and this will help him afford additional town centers in the next stage. As to where he'll build those town centers, I hope that the players will town center this location, you know, or this neutral land out here. It's important to make sure that they expand. So Core Diamond is on his way up to... No, Jasuni is on his way up to the Castle Age now. Core Diamond has clicked up just now. So actually, Jasuni is going to be up to the Castle Age a little bit before Core Diamond. Do we have any indication of what Jasuni is going to do with Castle Age once he gets there? Well, ordinarily I would say let's check his stone, but he's got nothing on stone. Jasuni does, however, have a lot of villagers on gold. But I don't see any military. I guess I see... Alright, I see an archery range. Let's change over to Jasuni's perspective. He's getting fletching. He has 8 on stone now, and he's taking stone out here. So he's actually kind of doing a sneak stone. He doesn't want his opponent to scout it at all. And I like how he's building this tower here to force these ships to go away. So perhaps his plan is to castle the shoreline to get back on water. I think that strategy is actually popular with a lot of players. They like to build their castle right along the shore. And this tower, yeah, you don't want to fight towers with ships. Towers are very good against ships. They get bonus damage. And some civilizations have a technology that you can research to increase that bonus damage. Alright, Jasuni in Castle Age now. And he doesn't have the stone for a castle. Oh, okay, he's going to build another town center down here. The town center is a good town center. I don't know that I like the timing of that town center, but if now is a decent time to build a town center, that's a decent town center. You know, the wood line is all the way to the edge of the map, and Jasuni knows that. So he knows that if he builds a town center here, he basically shores up his defenses in this location. His opponent has to destroy this archery range, which is in between both of his town centers in order to get in unimpeded, or he has to come around or something. Without this town center here, his opponent could destroy any of these buildings to get in. So the town center will unfortunately slow down Jasuni's quest for Castle Age. Okay, he's going to build another town center here, and I guess he's going to have like a little bit of a secret boom going on. So be good for Jasuni if he can get away with it. Do the secret boom. We'll have to monitor his villager count carefully. He's got 39 villagers now. Let's see how many villagers Core Diamond has. Core Diamond has 43. So Core Diamond with a villager advantage. And I believe that that includes... I believe that that doesn't include fishing ships, but I'm not sure. Since he's got 23 on food. So 17 of which... maybe even more than that. 20... yeah. 20 of that are fishing ships, and 3 of them are something else. Yeah, there's a farmer. And then, some hunters. But yeah. Yeah, I think that this 50 number does not include the fishing ships. I could be wrong. Which in that case means that Core Diamond has an even bigger economy advantage over Jasuni. And you can kind of tell from the score. He's got basically almost 1,000 score on Jasuni, which is not good at this stage in the game, but, you know, what's Jasuni going to do? He just has to keep surviving and hoping his opponent makes a mistake. Oh, let's check this. Does Core Diamond... oops. Core Diamond actually found this. He knows about this now. He's done a decent job of exploring this neutral area, so he knows that his opponent has a town center out here. So the town center could actually become a liability for Jasuni if Core Diamond decides to attack it. But it doesn't look like Core Diamond wants to attack it. It looks like Core Diamond wants to boom as well. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 town centers at least, plus 4 docks. So Core Diamond with a lot of opportunity to make fishing ships and oystering ships and to expand his economy very quickly. Let's look at Jasuni's economy. Jasuni has 60 villagers, and Core Diamond has 66 villagers plus about 20 fishing ships. So he definitely has a lead here, and Jasuni, unfortunately, having to repair this archery range because he has no way to stop these galleys from damaging it. Maybe it's a good opportunity for a monk or another tower or something. I don't really know that he wants to go another tower. I think what Jasuni can and should do at this point in the game is just try to take map control. Try to build a castle right here. You know, build a castle right here or over here. Make it impossible for Core Diamond to expand out here. Build all kinds of economy and production buildings out this way. And box Core Diamond in so that even though Core Diamond controls the water, it's less important because Jasuni controls the wood resource. So Core Diamond, 73 villagers, 105 overall population, and as far as I can tell, 5 of it is fishing ships. So he's basically got 100 villagers at this point. He's fully boomed. He may not know it, but he's fully boomed. Okay, I like this. I like this castle from Jasuni. This castle kind of gives him a little bit of control over the confluence. It can fire upon the vast majority. I mean, I guess there's a thin stretch right here. So the majority of this channel is over here. This left branch is covered by this castle in terms of entering and exiting. And about half at the narrowest entering this branch, maybe a little bit less, is covered by this castle. So at the very least, though, in terms of the ability to fire upon, but the castle can see everything. Now, Jasuni's big mistake was not sending more villagers to build it. It looks like the Core Diamond is not going to contest the castle anymore. But if Core Diamond had these ships up here, and he got them up at the wrong time, then he could have denied this castle, and that would have been very painful for Jasuni. Jasuni is going to get he's going to build a monastery as well. It looks like Core Diamond is going to try to sneak back with the relic. He's going to go back in the back way. This is what the Dravidian monk looks like. He's got this long wooden staff and the white beard. The monks have regional skins now. So Core Diamond on his way up to the Imperial Age. Imperial Age will allow him to, I think, get cannon ships so that he can deal with this Vietnamese castle. And Jasuni has not clicked up to the Imperial Age yet. Jasuni is getting cavalry upgrades. What? Is Jasuni going to go like Elephant Stampede? That would be amazing. If Jasuni showed up right here with a bunch of elephants, stampeded down these palisade walls, and just ran amok with elephants in this economy. I don't think Jasuni's going to do that, but it would be highly entertaining if he did. So I predict Core Diamond will get Imperial Age, and the first thing he will research is chemistry to give himself cannon ships and flatten everything. Yeah, I like this. I think Jasuni's doing the right things. He is building up in this location, and he's building stables. And yes, he's going elephants. Is he going to be able to go elephants in time? I'm not sure. And it looks like he hasn't gotten Shatras yet, the unique technology for these elephants. Core Diamond, on the other hand, is investing in ship technologies. So the question will be, can Jasuni launch this elephant stampede before Core Diamond cuts off the elephants and like clogs all of these crossings with ships? That is the question. And I think Core Diamond is on track to do that before Jasuni can stampede. Maybe if Jasuni's build had been a little bit better. Let's take a look at Jasuni's resources, actually. Maybe he's like totally macroed out. He's got excessive wood. He's got 40 on food. And he could use a few more castles around here. But really, if you want to do that kind of elephant stampede, I feel like you need to make a big distraction somewhere. He's basically going to try to run the gauntlet here. The good news for Jasuni is, I don't think Core Diamond knows about the stable. Yeah, Core Diamond doesn't know about the stables. This Dirt 2 here is just a visual bug on this screen. I don't think Core Diamond has any way of knowing that Jasuni has built buildings back here. Oh, look at this. Core Diamond is building these Therisidies. Not exactly sure what that is, but it's some really powerful ship that Dravidians can make. That's what you need to know. If anybody in chat wants to correct me and say, oh no, Tech, that ship is critical. You don't understand. And we see some cannon galleons are now setting themselves upon Jasuni's castle. And when those cannon galleons destroy the castle, they will approach the shoreline to clean up any other buildings, and then he will at that point see the stables with the elephants. Cannon galleon very expensive too. Range of 10 for these Therisidae, so they actually match the range of the castle. Castle goes down, and now Core Diamond will probably just destroy this monastery. How many relics does Jasuni have in that monastery? He's only got one. He's getting devotion, which is really smart. So devotion will make his elephants harder to convert. And a lucky break for Jasuni, actually. His opponent has turned his attention toward Jasuni's starting base, which is annoying, but if Core Diamond had come up here, he would have seen all of these production buildings making elephants. Jasuni's big problem is he's constantly getting housed now. His opponent's just tore down 5 houses. So he's got to build a new castle. He's actually got to build a couple castles to keep this area populated. Otherwise, he's never going to get the elephants out that he wants. And he needs more elephants. He's getting heavy elephant now, or armored elephant, whatever the heck it's called. Elite battle elephant. There we go. But these elephants could do some serious damage if Core Diamond cannot wall them out. Jasuni, he's probably thinking he can come in this way, which I guess he kind of can, unless Core Diamond re-walls back here. It depends on how swiftly and how far in the elephants go. If the elephants attack the first thing they see, no, but if the elephants get back into like right here, they can cause some serious damage. But Jasuni just perpetually housed. This is an excessive number of cannon galleons. I feel like this is a big overinvestment. And what is this? Oh, these are the Whippy boys, the Arumi swordsmen. So I'm not sure where those are going. Maybe on a raid, not sure. I don't know if you've ever been a villager and you've just been working in your garden or chopping some firewood or mining some stone and gold, and then somebody comes up with a whip and hits you like you're working for them instead of yourself. Okay, so these Whippy boys are coming to defend the trebuchets. So Jasuni he's going to research paper money to get a little bit of a gold trickle. And he's going to build a siege workshop. And maybe he's going to make an onager or something to go after these trebuchets. I think Jasuni has great plans here. It's just the execution of it. Like, there's one person building all of these houses here. Jasuni's been housed for like the past 10 minutes. And because of that house, he's had to attack with his elephants. And he's forced down 2 castles from Core Diamond. I think Jasuni will get this castle up. Yeah, he does manage to get the castle up, but Core Diamond has walled this off because it's so thick. And yeah, I think that the elephants should just take down the houses. And I think Jasuni should also make petards to take down the castle. It's a castle wall. But yeah, these elephants have been stonewalled, or not stonewalled, but they've been house-walled out. Okay, that house goes down. Jasuni could charge in here, and he should charge in here and destroy the trebuchets. He's got elephants. You know, elephants are pretty tough. I don't see the whipping boys beating the elephants. I would like to see Jasuni keep this castle alive, it doesn't really seem necessary for him to lose this castle. It seems like this is something that he could stop if only his elephants could get in here. The elephant's killing the Urumi swordsman, and Jasuni kill the trebuchets. But he just can't kill it in time. There's so many obstacles. It's just difficult. And then with that castle going down, I guess Jasuni does still have some pop space, but it's not ideal. It hurts his pop space ambitions. Hey, Cookie Pirate, welcome. So Jasuni's been forced off of water in this location. He's managed to defend his castle. Core Diamond over here looking for some more trouble. He's dropped a castle on Jasuni in this location, so Jasuni responds with a siege workshop. Cookie Pirate says, quality looks better at least from my phone. We'll check on my TV soon. Excellent. That would be the real tell. That would be truly the real tell. And what is this? Are some villagers participating in the attack? No, they're just trying to get through and chop some wood. Okay, Jasuni microing back. The elephants are a good choice here, and here's why. The elephants are just so tanky. The elephant is not a unit that relies on armor. It relies on health. And when you have a unit that ignores armor, the elephant doesn't really care. It's just like, yeah, dude, I'm a freaking elephant. I'm just everywhere. There's a lot of me. Good luck. Audio sounds crisp too. Excellent. But Jasuni's problem is that this elephant stampede can't get in and do its thing, because Core Diamond keeps walling them out. Okay, Jasuni does have a couple of stables up here. That should help with the supply lines. But Jasuni's running low on gold. He's making some light cav for raiding purposes, and he's got another town center planned here. Maybe he's going to go after this gold, maybe not. He maybe was taking gold here, I don't recall. But he's kind of forced up. He's got his back to the wall. He's forced away from the shore. I'm not really sure how he can win, but he has to abandon this area. He still has a few stables here. But he's going to build his town center up this way. Fight defense against the Urumi swordsmen. The Urumi swordsmen are tearing through the light cabs, which makes sense, considering that they're trash units. They're really not that good, but numbers is going to eventually win out. Looks like Jasuni will prevail, and he'll hold this location, but there are more Urumi swordsmen on the way. Core Diamond staging them in this location now that he's made his home base safe. And he's going to put a final siege to Jasuni on the neutral island, I think. Trebuchet's rolling across the river. And he's going to take the... Is he going to go for the relic? Doesn't look like it. He's not going for the relic. He's going for the villagers. Jasuni's still above 100 villagers. I mean, most of his economy is located in the back of his base. Are you streaming in 1080 or 1440? I believe I'm streaming in 1440. I would have to check the settings, which I can do. One sec. Yes, I'm streaming in 1440. According to OBS. So I think that Jasuni's going to get cleared out of here pretty soon, and then Core Diamond will attack in this location. Having the graphics card, I don't know how that got switched over, where I was asking my processor to do everything. But now the graphics card is actually rendering the graphics. So hopefully it's a lot better. So how many relics does Core Diamond have right now? Let's check. He's got 2. There's another relic here that nobody got. Oh wait, he's got 3, 4, and then the 5th relic is here. So Core Diamond has the opportunity to get a relic countdown if he can pick up this relic and this relic here. This one I don't think anybody ever got, and this one he just liberated from Jasuni. The text is slightly fuzzy, but that could be because my TV is upscaling to 2160, not a direct multiple. Okay, but it's still legible, and a massive improvement from before. That's good. Because nobody could read the text beforehand. So now what? So now Core Diamond has determined that he's wiped out Jasuni's forces up here. He's just sending one Arumi swordsman back to make sure there's no villager. And now he's going to send the rest of his army down here because he knows Jasuni is still down here. Jasuni is building a market, and I don't know what Jasuni's plan is. He needs a cost-effective counter to these Arumi swordsmen. It looks like he's going to go into skirmishers. I don't know if skirmishers would be a great choice. 3 plus 4 for the elite skirmisher, and then for Imperial skirmisher it's 4 plus 4. I don't think Imperial skirmishers get any bonus damage. So if we take that Imperial skirmishers have 8 attack, including chemistry, and the Urumi swordsmen have 4 pierce armor, each skirmisher will be doing 4 damage per hit to the Urumi swordsman. So it's not terrible, but it's not the best either. An archer composition would be much better. Now that I have it resolved, I could try Capture Age and see how that runs now that my CPU isn't overburdened. I thought about it, but I really wanted to play it safe. And the format for pretty much everything else is just standard game format. But it's definitely something to think about. The Whipmen are running in. I think Jasuni's on his last legs here. I don't know what else he can do. I mean, even... he's going into archers now, but it could be too late. The whipping boys are everywhere. I think hand cannons actually could be a good choice against these Urumi swordsmen. I'm pretty sure Vietnamese get hand cannons. We can check. No, they don't, actually. They removed them. I think they may have used to have gotten them. Maybe that's where I got that idea from. Alright, and Jasuni calls the GG. Core Diamond is victorious. Jasuni just never could really get in and do the damage with the elephants, and Core Diamond was just a little bit faster because I think Jasuni didn't fight for water as much, so therefore Core Diamond was always just ahead. Let's take a look at the statistics. So again, Core Diamond with more than a 2-to-1 kill-to-death ratio. Some of this is Jasuni's villagers, but still, just getting better fights, because the elephants couldn't really get around to do much. Core Diamond not raising 99 buildings and losing only 4, a largest army of 91. He basically just went straight whipping boys and trebs and ships, and won that way. Faster to feudal, Jasuni was faster to castle, but slightly, and Core Diamond was faster to Imperial Age. He picked up 3 relics and again got a little over 2k relic gold. Villager high of 142. Alright, so when I get back, we will continue with the second set. Guys, I'll be right back. We're going to do Lion versus Plush Werewolf next. All right, thank you for waiting. Let's take a look at the next players. So Lion versus Plush Werewolf. This one was played on round 3. So map of the round was Shimmer Pool. They took turns removing maps until only one remained. And that map is Shattered Plains. So their civilization draft is based off of these maps. The admin randomly banning 5 civilizations at the start. And then they banned 2 globally as well. Looks like Lion banned humans randomly. Maybe he didn't click in time. So they picked twice, sniped 1, and then I believe picked 2 more. So Plush Werewolf sniping Mongols from Lion, which is pretty smart. And Lion sniping Koreans from Plush Werewolf, which is also pretty smart. Lion left over with Poles, Spanish, and Celts. Some 3 pretty nasty civilizations, in my opinion. And Plush Werewolf left over with Huns, Dravidians, and Armenians. The first game is on Shimmer Pool. Let's check it out. Okay, so ban admin for bad admin bans. You can't ban the admin. So Plush Werewolf is playing as the Green Armenians. He is at about 2 o'clock. And Lion is playing as the Blue Celts. And he is at 8 o'clock. So Armenians versus Celts. Well, we all know about Celts, right? We'll talk about Celts first on this map. Actually, we'll talk about the map first. This map was made by yours truly, TechChariot. It's got stone in the corners. It's got generally open terrain behind the players. Just open space out there. I mean, there might be a few forest patches on some of the versions, but most of the forest is in the center. Got a thin oasis. Sometimes it has deep fish in it. Sometimes it's frozen over. It's got shorefish. And this particular version of it appears to be on some kind of autumn deciduous forest biome. So we got some bears and some horses. And these bears are basically going to prevent the players from walling off. So you could go scouts, or you could even go archers, really. But to send villagers out here to like wall this off, it's too big of a commitment. You'd need to send a lot of villagers to fight off these brown bears. So the map is surprisingly open. Even though it looks like this map is closed and campy, it is not closed and campy. It's just that all of your wood lines are forward by nature of the oasis. And these bears keep your base open until Castle Age. Once you get to Castle Age, or even Feudal Age, late Feudal Age, you can come in here and you can kill these bears. Hey, welcome. I'm glad that you thought it was a fun set. I'm glad that you enjoyed the set. Yeah, this is really now that we've talked about the map. So there's the opportunity to do like a slow crawl, and both these civilizations that kind of have their own slow crawl, but in different ways. That Celts are just not as slow because they're fast, because Celt infantry are fast and their siege weapons are powerful. I know. I wasn't going to dox you, but I know. I remember. This is one of the more aggressive maps of the league, really. Well, I would think that the Thaw would take the cake on that. But yes, I would agree that you cannot afford to be passive on this map. Your opponent will just slip in, they'll make 7 archers and they'll kill all the bears in their way, and then they'll just come in and mess with you. Or they'll make man-at-arms and maybe slip around the corner. Or they'll make fire ships and mess with you. Or they'll make scouts and just ignore the bears and slip through and mess with you. So you basically can always get to your opponent with Feudal Age military on this map, unless your opponent somehow manages to like wall this way, which is just really, really awkward because it's just such a long stretch. But yeah, let's talk about the players. These players are between 1200 and 1400. Sometimes some of them haven't played in a while. Plush Werewolf is looking to get back into it. He's been avoiding the thaw like the plague. Yeah, the thaw looks very, very, very wild to play. It looks difficult. It's the kind of map that would punish a lazy player like me. So, these guys are classics. They were both original members of the Veerdarks group back in, oh, I don't even know when that was. 2021, maybe? 2020 to 2022 or something like that. It's like an 18-month time span around that era. And they are well known to us. So, and these guys know each other as well. So just one sec. All right, sorry about that. Yes, so they know each other well. We know them well. Skill level is pretty well figured out, and they're going to have a good time here. So Plush Werewolf is playing as a new civilization, the Armenians. The Armenians as a civilization were invented after this map. So the map is old, the players are old. The map might be called Shimmerpool, but it's based off of Karga. The El Karga Oasis in Egypt. It's one of the first maps that I ever made, and I've since remastered it with different biomes and such. Never fully satisfied, you know, the remaster of how it came out. I think the forests are a little bit weird on it relative to Karga, but you know, it works in 1v1. It's okay, and it's got all the different biomes and such. So we'll see how these mule carts do. But the map was not made with the mule cart in mind. Which is a good advantage that Plush Werewolf can bring. You know, this mule cart, the forests, you know, they're kind of small and spaced out, hard to wall, so mule cart could be a good advantage here. Lion is playing as the Celts, and his lumberjacks work faster, his infantry run faster, his siege weapons have more health. But let's take a look at the Armenians here. So mule carts are cheaper, mule cart technologies are more effective. Spearmen and militia line upgrades except man-at-arms are available one age earlier. So that's probably not going to really help. I guess it could help a little bit. The first fortified church receives a free relic, so basically nullifies the victory condition. So that helps a lot. Standard victory condition, I think that throws it off. Galley line and Dromon's fire an additional projectile. Composite bowmen is their unique unit. So they get some naval bonuses too, which could help Plush Werewolf win the water, and they are going to fight over the water. So somebody should send a repair villager forward. Looks like Lion is coming back to repair his fire ship. So then Plush Werewolf will have to run away, but the fire ship is not quite... Alright, now Lion can repair it. So Plush Werewolf is just going to destroy this fishing ship instead. Or maybe it was not on purpose. Maybe it just was an accident. But he's going to lose this fire ship unless he pulls it back to repair right now. But he doesn't see it. Yeah, man, Cookie Pirate. The way the AI is going with some of these graphics cards, it'll be obsolete in a couple of years. It's really insane. Some of the really cool things that these computing companies are developing. And the other thing too is that there's a lot of investment right now in making a lot of these chips and processors here in America instead of in Taiwan. So you may want to hold off a little bit on something that's state-of-the-art in terms of a graphics card until you see what effect an American-made or American chip manufacturing has on the prices of electronics. Well, man, you asked my opinion, and I told it to you. You don't have to agree with it. That is the beauty about living in a free society. You don't have to agree with everything. So lion coming around. Man-at-arms on the left. Wait, what? Where? Man-at-arms. Aha. So Plush Werewolf has made some man-at-arms. Thank you. I was like, well, okay, here's a scout that I found. And Plush Werewolf's got these Armenian man-at-arms. And do they have extra pierce armor? No? Well, actually, yes, it does. Kind of looks like they have an extra pierce armor. Maybe they just have extra armor in general. Lion fighting this. And I think it's the right thing to do, because the man-at-arms weren't really all fighting together. You had one man-at-arms that was fighting, and the second one kind of helped for a little bit, and then they came back and killed Lion's scout. But I think Plush should get in here. Like, there's a wounded villager he could potentially pick off. But is Plush walled in? Are these man-at-arms walled in? I guess they have the opportunity to destroy a house. Fireship has the opportunity to destroy a man-at-arms. No, they can't be walled in. This is definitely open. Okay, here he comes. So Plush has figured out that Lion is... No, he's going back around. What in the world? Plush, just go kill him. Just go kill something. I guess maybe he thought this was open here. Alright, and he's going to pick a fight with a new villager. Lion actually microing to the weak man-at-arms, which is smart. And Plush manages to pick off a villager there at the cost of one man-at-arms. So... Okay, so Cookie Pirate qualifying that he disagrees about the timing of the obsolescence. Okay, well, that's fair enough. Maybe. I don't know, we'll see. It's impossible to exactly predict the future. And it looks like there was something here, too. Lion died fighting here. Maybe his scout came in and tried to get a Plush Werewolf villager, and we just missed it. So Plush Werewolf, I think, did decent damage with the man-at-arms. Let's do a villager roll call. So, let's see. So Lion with one more villager than Plush Werewolf. It is 38 villagers to 38 villagers now. And Lion coming back here, and it looks like... Is he interested in the stone? That would be good. Some tech talk in the Discord would definitely be good. Not like talk about tech. That's not what I mean. Talking about technology. Alright, yeah, it looks like he's going to go back on the stone, and Lion is planning something with stone. Don't know exactly what yet. Probably a castle, though, considering that if he wanted to go towers, he would have gone so already. And Lion is also making some Celtic archers, which is an interesting choice. It's not expected. Plush has made another man-at-arms, but I don't think this man-at-arms is going to get much damage in, because there are too many archers at large. So I would just use this man-at-arms, if you're Plush Werewolf, to scout Lion's base and see what Lion is up to, and not make any more. There's too many archers here. And Plush Werewolf sees the archers and decides to build a tower, which is a good investment. Plush should be pretty close to clicking up to the next stage, I would think. He's got 20 on food. And does he have wheelbarrow yet? Yes, he does, actually. He has gotten the wheelbarrow upgrade at this point. And he's still tied with Lion, so the game is still pretty close. With Lion taking some stone back here. And Plush does... I don't think Plush knows about that. I mean, he knows that there's stone there, but he hasn't scouted that... Yeah, he hasn't scouted anything regarding this. So you can kind of be sneaky about your stone ambitions, I suppose. Yeah, Lion with some scouts. So I think Lion wanted to go Celt scouts, but he also made some Celt archers. So he's going scouts and archers. And if Plush Werewolf is not careful, they're going to take him off of gold here. He needs to be rushing down a tower right now, but instead he's going to rush down a market because he's got a ton of extra gold. Actually, there's no real reason for all these villagers to be here on gold anyway. He's got over 1,000 gold. There's no way he's ever going to use that gold. He needs to get out of here. Okay, Lion reaches the castle age, and Plush's economy has to evacuate the gold mines. Some spearmen and some skirmishers die. But I haven't seen any villagers go down yet. Plush pulls these farmers off as well. No, Plush, no. That farm is not safe. Oh, luckily the archers were distracted by the farm itself. Stable going up. So Lion is going to be very aggressive. This stable tells us that Lion is here to stay. Or, let me put it to you like this. This stable tells us that this game is going to be over quickly. One way or the other. Lion is either going to kill Plush Werewolf with units made from this stable and any other forward that he does, or Plush Werewolf is going to destroy Lion's forward and put him so far back that he'll resign. Those are the two options right now. And the advantage is to Lion because Lion is in the Castle Age first. Now, what's Lion going to do with the Castle Age? Let's change over to his point of view. Well, he has enough stone for a castle, and he's sending some more... Uh-oh. Are these castle drop villagers? They look like lumberjacks, but they're not stopping at the closest tree. Oh boy. Alright, so here's the castle drop coming, boys and girls. So Lion's building a siege workshop, as the Celts do. And Plush Werewolf wants to reclaim this gold. I mean, there's more gold here than meets the eye. There's probably about 1,500 left in this pile. So he's building a watchtower. I think the watchtower would be better on a hill, but then again, he wants it to be in range of this other watchtower. So these two watchtowers are in range of each other, and so they will help him protect his gold. Now, does Plush Werewolf know? Surely he must know about Lion's. Yeah, he knows about Lion's siege workshop. So what's the plan now? Alright, he's going to make some barracks. He's going to make some barracks, and Lion's going to drop a castle right here. Well, that's pretty awkward. First thing Plush should do would be to cancel these barracks and build them over here. In fact, if Plush could build the barracks over here and then build like a palisade wall, he could kind of zone off this area. Could improvise wall this. He's got a couple towers here to buy him some time. The villagers charging the base of the mangonel. Celt siege firing faster. Oh, they had a man-at-arms to help out. Yep, Lion really punishing the delay here from Plush Werewolf getting up. The Celtic castle goes up, looks really handsome with its unique Celtic skin. Plush Werewolf's got some man-at-arms running around like chickens with their heads cut off. A single volley from this castle will kill them. I think these man-at-arms should just like attack the base of the castle. Force Lion to go to get... Oh, no, they're needed down here. Alright, I see where they're going. Force Lion to get murder holes. Plush Werewolf has built some defensive towers. Plush would actually really benefit from guard tower right about now, I think. Lion is being relentless, though, with the light cavalry. And you don't want to let Lion make whatever he wants to make. Plush Werewolf going off to stone himself so that he can continue to build defensive towers. All of these towers that he's built have either been from his initial starting stock of stone or are bought. So he definitely needs his own stone supply. Now, you can't really wall off the ridge, but you can wall within the ridge. Lion's got some light cav working on this. Yeah, Plush needs guard tower, and he needs villagers on stone. He needs all kinds of things. He needs pikemen. He's in rough shape here. He's got basically no military, except for 7 man-at-arms. So I guess maybe if he can hold on long enough for a scorpion or 2 or something like that to help him out with the archers, it could work. He's got a mule cart here, and Lion is going to attack it. Actually, yeah, he needs a mule cart to soak all the arrow fire. Look at this. These archers are taking forever. Okay, Plush Werewolf is going for the longsword upgrade. He is not on gold. He is milling down here. And Lion is on the water. So I don't know if Lion... Yeah, Lion's sending the fire ships. He's going to mess with Plush Werewolf in this location. And he's going to burn this farm. He's got light cav under his town center. Plush, garrison! Shoot at the light cav. But I guess he doesn't see it, or he's busy somewhere else. He's taking stone here. Actually, Plush could move this mule cart next to the relic, and then palisade in between these stone walls, but he's just done. Lion has just used attrition to burn up all of Plush Werewolf's energy and villagers. He's down to 35 villagers, whereas Lion has 61. So GG, well played. Lion playing Shimmerpool very aggressively, which is the way that it was meant to be played, and the way that it inherently plays out, I think. This map, or a version similar to it, Karga, was submitted for Nilly's Apartment Cup 5, but they didn't go anywhere with it because they said it was campy. But Lion has just shown us that this map is the exact opposite. He is good at piling on the pressure. That's true. He's done it to me in previous seasons of Alchemy League. Let's take a look at the statistics. Celts are a good choice for that. I agree. Lion had some good bonuses as Celts. He had the faster lumberjacks that were helping his economy out. Campy. Joe is asking what campy means. Campy means that they both kind of just hang around and don't do anything, because it's hard to kill each other. Okay, so Lion, look at this. 52 kills, 18 deaths, 8 buildings razed, none lost, just utter domination with military. He had more food collected, but Plush actually had more wood collected. Lion had less wood collected than Plush. So I guess what this is telling me is that Lion put fewer villagers on wood and sent them somewhere else for some other benefit. And that other location was on stone. So basically his wood collection bonus probably gave Lion a free castle, if you think about it that way. And he also collected twice as much gold. Lion with the better age-up times, especially this castle age, is what crushed Plush. Lion exploring more of the map and having superior research. Lion with 1 castle and a villager high of 61. Along with Oladushek, but in different ways. Yeah, Lion's very aggressive. Alright, and then Lion with the dramatic. As soon as Plush hit Castle Age, it was a downhill from there. So now let's go ahead and cast the final game on Shattered Plains between Plush Werewolf and Lion. Yes, I would like to proceed. Thank you for asking. So Shattered Plains was made by Welcome to Rapture. I think this was kind of one of his first maps ever. So if you think that it looks a little bit empty and simple, well, first of all, I don't think it's terribly simple, although it is a lot like Arena and Fortress combined. But it was his first one. And he's since actually come a long way in making maps. He's got one in Glitched Nordic Masters, I believe. And he's doing another one for us for the next season of Alchemy League. So, yeah, what is it? It's basically Arena, but with scattered wood patches instead of a ring of wood around the outside. And in the center, you've got these mounds. And the mounds have some neutral gold and neutral stone on them, as well as berries and some scattered dead trees. Plush Werewolf likes the map a lot. I've noticed that Plush Werewolf likes this map a lot. I feel that it's not as aggressive as Gugong. It's like we have 2 arena-type maps, and one of them is heavily aggressive, or one of them you could maybe get away with more tower rushes on, and that's Gugong. And then this map is a little bit more open and a little bit more in favor of cavalry-type builds and mobility builds. With a gold rush twist, yeah. Exactly. So Plush Werewolf is playing as the Green Huns, so no houses from him. We will never see Plush Werewolf get housed as the Huns. If you get housed as the Huns, you're pretty noob. All right, and then there's Lion, and Lion is playing as the Blue Spanish. So Spanish, pretty classic pick. On Arena, Spanish have all kinds of options. They can go Conquistadors, they can go Donks, they can do both. I think everybody that's familiar with the community has seen a guy called BBB from the Juicy 45 community go Conks and Donks, where he plays Spanish all the time. And he either makes conquistadors or donkey men, aka the missionaries. So he either kills you with hard-hitting, mounted hand cannoneer type units, or he converts everything you have, or both. And it's a good time. So we could see Lion do conks or donks, or we could see Lion do something really weird. Like he could go fast Imperial Age into a monk Treb push, or he could go a siege monk push. The monks are statistically superior to the donkeys. The only disadvantage is they don't have mobility, which could be important here because the players are somewhat far apart. So he may opt out of the monks and he may go some mounted unit instead, like conks or like donks. Or he could just try to boom up and make paladins or something. I mean, he just got a win off of Plush. He just gave Plush a bloody nose. Maybe he's content to kind of take it easy for a little bit and play passively to see what Plush does with the space. See if it's more effective to boom up and kill Plush with a big economy. We'll see what happens. But Lion feels like he's in a good position. He's won the first game, so he doesn't really have to prove anything. Cookie Pirate says everybody starts somewhere. I'm not huge on it, but I do appreciate how the bases don't have walls in the back. They're perfectly against the map edge, and the mounds in the center are creative. Yes, I believe it's based off of some scenario that he played years ago and really liked that had a Shattered Plains domain in it. But you have to ask him a little bit more about that. Cookie Pirate does not like arena maps. Ooh, hot take. I always thought you liked arena-styled maps. Because I just don't feel safe if I don't start with stone walls. That's my problem. Like if I don't have walls, I just feel so unsafe. I fold under pressure. That's what happens to me. A lot of players have that. Some players thrive in chaos, but I am not one of them. Similar scores. Let's take a look at the exploration. Okay, yeah. Plush Werewolf has scouted his opponent. Let's take a look and see what scouting information Lion has. Lion has just scouted his opponent. So this kind of tells me that actually Plush is planning on being more aggressive than Lion because Plush scouted Lion first. Lion spent more time pushing in his deer. Plush Werewolf is pushing in his deer now. We've got a second lumber camp, so nothing too crazy from Plush Werewolf. This will not be an insane build. But I would expect Plush to be more aggressive than Lion this game. But we will see, based on their scouting timings. That's always one of the things that on Arena that's kind of a big tell, right? If you're playing an Arena, and your opponent is like up against your walls with his scout on minute 4 or something, you know that they are up to no good. They're going to tower rush you. They are going to do something really crazy to try to hurt you as soon as possible. And that's fun when people do that. It really is. It's a good thing. Cookie Pirate says, I like playing them because I suck at the game, but in terms of competitive in Alchemy League, they're a bit too passive. I see what you mean there. Having too many maps with stone walls can stifle the variety. But here I think it's okay. I think we did it okay because Gugong and Shattered Plains play out differently. Oh, look at this. Plush Werewolf pushing the deer through the gate? Oh, that would be a cool trick. Starting with palisade walls is a more viable option for me in competitive league games. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Okay. So I think both players are pretty much all done pushing in their deer. Lion is on stone already, so this is telling us that Lion, and he's on his way up to the Castle Age, 26 population. Plush is actually almost Feudal Age. He just hit it. So he did a 24 pop FC. Lion is doing a 26 pop FC, and he's on stone. So the Lion is doing a more standard castle type build for Spanish. Plush is the one that we got to watch out for, and we see Market Blacksmith immediately for Plush Werewolf. 24 pop FC. That's pretty fast. That is booming fast castle kind of timing. Really, I mean, I guess maybe you could go monks or something like that, but Huns don't. I'm trying to think here. I guess apart from the houses, Huns don't really have good economy bonuses. So I'm expecting Plush Werewolf to make a little bit of economy, or maybe a lot of economy, with a 24 uptime. I mean, it is Market Blacksmith, so this is telling us that Plush is not planning on contesting relics, and he plans to win through aggression. And Lion doing a more classic fast castle build with, room for stone, and to get his castle up immediately. And Plush is not going to have a castle immediately. He's not even on stone. Cookie Pirate says, my Vietnamese Imperial city map idea started with palisade walls with an upgrade to fortified palisades available. Partly for gameplay, but partly for realism, too, since Vietnam is heavily forested. But I don't think a ton of stone makes sense for the region. Well, and design a map pack. You can design a map pack and make it. I got a few map packs of my own to design, and I know somebody that's working on another one, hopefully, for a really influential region that I think is underrepresented in Age of Empires. But we want to get people we want to get people believing that if they spend 20 hours designing a map pack in our system, that it could eventually be made someday. You know, we could eventually host Alchemy League on it. That's kind of the goal. But I need to write it all up, an announcement and stuff, and post that kind of thing. I actually have some overdue announcements to post anyway about other topics. All right, so interesting. So Plush Werewolf, Castle Age, and I guess I'm wrong. He's got 2 archery ranges here. And I guess Plush Werewolf feels like he has enough economy to go 2-range cavalry archers. It could work, right? I mean, cavalry archers for Huns are cheaper than for other civilizations. And if he's only on 2 ranges, maybe this is something that he really can't afford to go 2-range cavalry archers and continuously make villagers even still. So he gets up fast to get the cavalry archers rolling, give himself a little bit of a head start. And I actually think that this is important, and here's why. Because we know that Lion loves his aggressive plays. So Lion's got a castle going up, and he's got a monastery going up. And I'm really pleased for Plush to be making cavalry archers right now instead of town centers, because we all know that War Lion is up to no good. Like, War Lion is thinking about how to kill you right now. And War Lion is making conks right now. He's making monks right now, or he will be making monks right now. Plush knows this. He knows that his opponent is Spanish, and he needs an answer. And a good, cost-effective answer to conquistadors could be cavalry archers. I mean, it's true, conquistadors deal way more damage than cavalry archers. I mean, they are a form of cavalry archer with a very slow reload and less accurate projectile. So this is like the only thing, really, that Plush Werewolf can make that could stop War Lion's conquistadors if War Lion committed to conquistadors. So Plush is making it, and that's a good thing. This monk is angrily waving his staff at these cavalry archers and forcing them to withdraw. Map control is most important on this map. I agree. I think that on arena maps in general, map control is very underappreciated. There's a lot of resources in the middle that you need, and or on arena especially, it's like it's building space that you need. That's really the kind of the invisible resource that people overlook and get into trouble on arena, because they lose map control and they don't have the ability to build any buildings and keep up in production. Ooh, this Lion gets a conversion there. And Plush has to withdraw from that location, loses 2, including the conversion, loses 2 cavalry archers. So he really needs to consolidate his forces before picking a fight here. Otherwise, War Lion is just going to take him out one by one. And there goes another cavalry archer. And Plush micros away. And this guy escapes with just 1 HP. He's got some other cavalry archers here. On this one, the building space in the center is less valuable, but there are other resources. And the building space in the center is less valuable, number 1, because there's more space on the outside, but number 2, also because of the elevation. Plush says there's even less safe res in the bases on this map, so gold will run out fast if you can't expand. Exactly. Yeah, this one trades building space as a resource for gold, basically. You trade some importance that was assigned to building space, and you trade that importance to obtaining gold instead. This is coming a long way since Season 4, which is where I really felt the league start to take off. Yes. Yeah, Season 4. Once we've been doing this for about 3 seasons. Well, really, you know, it's kind of strange because in our first season we had good maps, but a terrible system. And in the second season of the league, we had a good system, but no custom maps. The third season was the first season in which we combined good maps with a good system. And then people were like, well, okay, let's sign up for season 4, Alaska. That looks pretty cool. And then we've been growing ever since. We're pretty lucky with the league. We've got a good concept. We got a loyal community. And people like the product, which is good. So we just gotta stay the course, and this league could really take over. It could be a viable alternative to the ranked queue. Could even replace it for people that prefer a different, brand new map pool. They prefer a standard victory condition, etc. That's my goal. That would be really cool to achieve. All right, so Lion, I guess he sees all these cavalry archers, and he's like, well, all right, good luck with that. So he's going to kind of wait with the conquistadors. Maybe Lion wants to make some petards or something, but it looks like he's palisade walled this, and he's going to expand out because he needs more gold. And he's going to build this town center to secure this gold here. But I guess Lion is he's not really sure what to do. He's kind of making up his mind, I think. He knows that there are a lot of cav archers that he doesn't want to fight with. And these cav archers are chiseling. Actually, wait a second. What the? How did these get in there? Did Lion just wall this off even though there's a gap in the forest? And he's sending his villagers to try to get away or hide them, but Plush Werewolf finds the villagers. And so now Plush Werewolf is going to be in here and be annoying. I don't know exactly how much damage he can do, although Lion just picked off a monk. So Lion just figures, I'm just going to raid with my conquistadors. You're looking forward to seeing what happens in Season 8. Gaps in the acacias. Yes, the forest has gaps. You got to be careful. It's true. So Plush Werewolf diving, killing 3 villagers, losing some cavalry archers, but I think it's a worthwhile trade. Let's take a look at the villager count. Plush is actually head in villagers over Lion. It's got 63 to 58. So it's not a huge advantage, but it is something. And here are the petards that we were thinking about earlier. So Lion has made a couple of petards. He's going to try to sneak these past Plush Werewolf. He's got his conquistadors hanging out here. He's not going to be able to take a sustained fight. He withdraws. The cavalry archers, they have the same range, but they just fire faster, and they're a little bit more nimble. Let's take a look at health. Cavalry archers with 50, conquistadors with 55. Oh, Plush has spotted the petards. So Lion is going to convert this this cavalry archer. But Plush wants to finish off one of the petards, and he does. He blows up. So the arrows set off a chain reaction, and the barrels full of gunpowder explode. Lion trying to get back with this relic, but he doesn't make it very far. Plush has got a monk of his own. This is a Hunnic monk. The weird-looking boy. He looks more like a shaman, to be honest. I don't know how many civilizations have monks that look like this. Maybe the Mongols, too. But I actually have not seen this monk yet. Looks a little bit like the Aztec monks, to be honest. Oh, no, Plush, get the relic. Get the relic. Alright, he doesn't get the relic. But we got kind of this stone monastery shape here. This is the new monastery for some of these horde civilizations, like the Huns and probably the Mongols, and maybe some others too. I'd have to go in and play with it. There's a ton of stuff in the new patch. It's really encouraging to see Microsoft invest in the game. I don't know if they have the best vision for tournaments or anything like that, but when it comes to actually changing the game, there's no one that does it better. I mean, it makes sense. They're the official developers. I do too. I like the new monk and monastery skins. It's great design. All the new visual immersion adds a lot of good flavor to the game. I agree. As the rules change and new civilizations are added, it can make the game harder to keep up with. But that just gives us content creators more stuff to do, right? Okay, so Plush has decided that rather than donate this relic to Lion, as compensation for all the villagers that he killed, he's going to take it for himself. Which, honestly, that seems like more of, more appropriate role-playing on part of the Huns. Like, it would seem like the Huns would want all these cool artifacts for themselves. At least ones that generate gold. May not appreciate the historical significance of it in Hunnic fashion, but if it makes them money, I think that's something the Huns would understand. So here he comes. He's coming back home with the relic. This will make sure that Lion cannot get a relic victory. And Lion is making cavalry archers of his own. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I guess the Spanish are a technologically advanced civilization. They get a lot of technologies. They have access to most of the technologies. Plus losing a lot of cavalry archers for free, though, to the castle, which is unfortunate. But they don't get any bonus for it. Their cavalry archers are the same cost. I think skirmishers would do Lion just fine, really. But he makes cavalry archers. Even though conquistadors are like his cavalry archers, but better. If Microsoft could put the effort into this game that they put into the flight sim, it would be incredible. That's true. But somebody like you, Cookie Pirate, can do a flight sim stream and like pick up 3 or 4 new subscribers every single time. Or at least viewers. Because people are inherently interested in flight sim. So there are Age of Empires content creators that, can't get the same level of attention because people don't want Age of Empires. Or if they do, it's a very niche and kind of captive community. They've already decided, okay, this is the short list of people that I care about. And sure, there could be more stuff, but there just aren't enough people to warrant that kind of investment. But they have noted that, people are loyal to Age of Empires, and they are investing in it. Not just flight sim by nature. That's true. And the cookies. Everybody loves the cookies. It's Plush Werewolf getting cornered here. Warlion eventually building up his own army of cavalry archers. It's going to mirror what Plush Werewolf is doing. The cookies and the roller coasters are also popular. So we kind of see a mirror cavalry archer battle here. This is a little bit greedy from Lion, though. Plush is surely going to see this. Yeah, he can't get away with that. But Lion ran out of gold up here, or he just ran out of gold, and he wants more gold to feed his army. I think what Lion needs to do is he needs to build another lumber camp back here and throw down a ton of farms and go up to the Imperial Age and go into, like, I don't know if he has the gold for it is the thing, but he could surely go Cavaliers and drop this off. But Lion wants resources, but Plush is like monitoring this. He's got a mining camp here, he's got a mining camp here, he's trying to take resources, but Plush has been keeping an eye on these resources because he has more map presence. He's in the Imperial Age. Plush coming forward, he's gonna spot Lion. Oh nope, Lion spots him first. Decides to get out of there. So Lion's a little bit starved for resources. He tries to get in here to do a raid, but Plush has a Hunnic castle here. I love this. Look at this Hunnic castle. It's like a castle that they conquered and they destroyed the top of it. And then they were like, yeah, let's just build some wood up here. It'll be fine. Most people can't even get up there. So, and they're like, no, nobody uses flaming arrows like us. So this castle will be fine. Most people fly big planes into big airports, but Georgia is more niche and it draws crowds when people do it. And Georgia is closest to my heart as a private pilot and taking over a decade in the industry at very small to small airports. So you think it's a local thing too. I mean, it could be, but we get people from all over. I'm actually told that, or not told, but I checked the analytics for this channel. I'm going to try to do better with better stream quality. I didn't realize it was so bad because I don't really ever watch my own stream, but hopefully it's better now. We get a lot of viewers from India on this channel. Oh, general aviation. Okay. Well, I guess Georgia. Yeah, we get a lot of viewers from India, and we get a lot of women viewers actually, but they don't stay very long. Because they're like, oh wait, this is Age of Empires. This is boring. So Lion is really committing to these cavalry archers, but Plush is also really committing. And Lion is almost Imperial Age. Plush is Imperial Age. Plush getting heavy cavalry archer. Lion investing in heavy cavalry archer. And he wants to keep this castle up, but I think he needs to keep buying stone in order to keep it up. I don't think that castle is going to stay up. And Plush really taking advantage of the map control, but Lion shutting down Plush's gold mine here and his stable production. So Plush is going to have to come over here and deal with this. But that was a good raid for Lion. He needs it. Unfortunately, Lion also needs resources himself, and Plush is making it impossible for Lion to get those resources. Lion can't take this gold, he can't take this stone, he can't take this gold because Plush has a mining camp on it. And Plush is about to come up and knock on the front door here. South Carolina pride here, mate. Well, hey, you work in Georgia, so that's why I thought that you might care about Georgia more. There's rivalry here between South Carolina and Georgia. Ah, I see. There is no rivalry where I live between New York and Pennsylvania. Everybody agrees that Pennsylvania is better. Yeah, Lion saying, I can't get to this gold. He's mined out the gold and he says, GG, well played. Plush denying this gold. And Lion realizing that the writing is on the wall. So Plush Werewolf tying the setup 1-1. What a great comeback. Plush seeing something in the Huns on this map that maybe most people didn't realize. Let's check out the statistics. So Plush Werewolf with 66 kills, 46 deaths. Raised to loss ratio is about the same, but one of these buildings for Lion was a castle, so I guess that's a pretty big deal. Lion converting 2 cavalry archers. Plush Werewolf with the largest army of 6,200 cavalry archers. He outnumbered Lion 2-1. Let's check out the economy. Plush Werewolf with a larger economy overall, collecting more of every resource. Technology. Plush was ahead on everything. Except for map explored and research count, which makes sense because the Spanish, right? Lion with 2 overall castles. Plush got 4 relics. He used the cavalry archers to take map control, to secure relics, and to deny Lion from taking other resources outside of his base. Plush Werewolf with about 900 relic gold. Lion with 620. Plush Werewolf booming up to 126 villagers. So timeline looked pretty even until Plush Werewolf hit Imperial Age, and then it got out of control. Yeah, Plush with a big Hunnic economy back home. So pretty entertaining sets today, especially the second one. I really appreciate you guys joining. We have seen Core Diamond versus Jasuni, and we have seen Lion versus Plush Werewolf, and the sets did not disappoint. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I got to go and do some emergency work on map for the next season of Alchemy League. Make sure that everything gets finished on time. So I'm not going to be able to cast any more today or probably any more anytime soon. But I definitely wanted to get the new stream settings all tested out. And I'm very happy with the results. An improvement in technology, an improvement in my computer's processor. And I didn't even realize the potential. So thanks so much, guys, for joining. I hope that the video has been better quality this time. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.